They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
What up? Welcome back to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And in this one, let's go ahead and add another figure to my DC figure collection. Now this is an offshoot of the DC multiverse going under the banner of Page Punchers and DC Direct. Now we have already received one full wave, and this is the final figure we'll be taking a look at. Batman from the Black Adam wave of Page Punchers. Now we have actually just received images of the Injustice 2 Batman that is going to lead off the second wave of the Page Punchers, and there's rumored to be a Supergirl. I'm not sure what other figures, but definitely interested in picking up that wave, and pretty sure that they will do a good job on the figures. Now actually looking into the comment section of the McFarlane official page, it just makes me laugh, and I don't know who to laugh harder at. The people that cry about a comic accurate Wonder Woman, or the people that keep crying about too many Batman. It's just pretty hilarious to me. I would not waste my time and actually comment on them and try to explain to them why there's so many Batman in the line, because of course they're going to be oblivious to the fact that if you want to keep the line going, you have to keep making the figures that sell. And sadly, the reality is more than they can bear, and that is that Batman sells way more figures than villains and even female figures. Now, I for one would enjoy any figure that comes out. That's why I don't cry about what the choices are or what character selections are. I just will not spend my time even worried about it, because I'm going to buy whatever they release, and all their little tiers could be added up, and they're not going to make one little difference in the character selection, because I for one trust Todd to run the to sell the figures and run the company more than I do a couple of worms in the comment section. So there is going to be a wave 2. This is the final figure of the first wave, Batman. Now he does look pretty tactical in the packaging, but let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. But first, he does come with your standard black DC Multiverse stand. Not necessarily needed, but sometimes they come in useful. He also comes with his Page Puncher card. On the front you have an image of the comic, and on the back you do have some information. Added to the collection. Now this one does come with an accessory, which is his Batarang, kind of reminiscent of the Batman Begins Batarang, but it's all in black. Pretty sweet. And of course this one also comes with the comic that we've actually looked at before, and I mean it's the same comic in all the figures, so there's no reason to go over it again. You do have an image of this version of Batman, which is I think Balijo or something, the artist. But I mean, I think one thing they could improve on is to actually make it like a 4-part of one little run, you know, like a little 4-part series where each figure gets one issue, and when you get all 4 issues you could read the complete story. I think that would help them sell a little bit more, but they're, you know, selling, so it's not a big deal. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at them. Now, like I said, this is a pretty tactical looking Batman. He does have like a olive green or kind of like military green tinge to him. I have seen some people say that, why can't you just paint it black or paint it gray? I mean, we have tons of gray Batmans, so I don't know why necessarily you would want to repaint one that's a different color. I kind of like the muted color that it is. Very stealthy and probably able to use at night a lot more than any blues or yellows would be able to be used at night. But he does look pretty rough. He does look pretty grizzled. You can see all the armor plating on his suit. A really stoic looking Batman, and also ready for action looking Batman. Pretty nice tactical suit. Let's take a look at the head. Now they did do this on the art of the comic. He does have kind of a grimacing, scowling face to him, but even the cowl does have some cool, stylistic lines where you could see like it's an armored cowl. It probably has plates in there and stuff, so looks really good. These are the biggest, widest eyes I've seen. I mean, aside from, I think, the Death Metal Batman, that one had some pretty big white eyes, but this one's pretty much bringing up the rear at number 2 in the, widest bulging eyes that we have from Batman. I do like it. It matches the suit, so that's, no problem. And as I said before, this is from the comic, but we will be doing a little bit of head swapping just to see some other heads on this guy, because I've been kind of interested to see how he would look with some of my favorite Batman heads from McFarlane. But let's take a look at the articulation. He does look down pretty good. He actually looks up really well. The only thing I would say is that his head kind of sits kind of low. It's another one of these cases where the head's kind of scrunched down on the neck, and if you were just to raise it a couple of millimeters, it would look really, really good. I think it would help also in his height and also in his articulation, because it's kind of stiff, but you do get right to left, and you could still cock his head. Like I said before, he does look up pretty well, but I just think his head needs to go up a little bit. So we will also be doing that and taking a look at how that looks. Going down to the chest, this is a pretty unique bat emblem. It kind of looks like an old school bat symbol from like Dracula or something. You could see the wings spaced out, like the outline detail of the wings of the bat. So pretty stylized bat emblem on the front. And then look at that belt. That utility belt is just awesome. I'm a big fan of like the realistic looking utility belts with the pouches, and this one does not disappoint. It even has like a loop here, like a metal loop on the side, and then on the other side he has like a little capsule weapon or something like that, like a capsule. You can see the little plug on it, some kind of gas capsule. But yeah, it has the bat emblem right in the front and all the pouches. Looks really good. Let's take a look at the waist articulation. He does have side to side, that full waist rotation. He does have a lower waist swivel and an upper chest swivel. You can twist him, get him in some cool poses. Now he does have a slight crunch forward, and then he does lean back really well, get him in some action poses. Pretty sweet. Let's take a look at the arm. He does have a butterfly shoulder joint under the pauldron here, like an armored pauldron, shoulder pauldron. And then you do get up and down and front to back. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows. A little bit choppy there with the elbow cut. And then you go down from the armor plating. You could see all the stitching in the suit, and even the stitching around the gloves looks really good. You have his gauntlet blades there, and his fist does have the like brass knucks built into the fist. Pretty devastating. You do get some articulation there at the wrist, and on the other side pretty much the same. Nice sculpt work, gauntlet blades, and then this one is a grasping or like trigger looking hand. You could use it for his batarang or for other weapons. As far as T-pose, you do have to maneuver the shoulder pauldrons underneath the cape, but you can get him into a pretty decent T-pose. No higher than that, but you can put his arms forward and get him above his head. Pretty awesome articulation there from McFarlane. Oh, pretty generous thigh swivel. It does get a lot of rotation. You can kick up pretty high for the Mafia kick, and he can kick back really well. A lot higher than people expect, and this is allowed by the rubber trunks. When you put it back, it just goes back to their original form. Now he does have that sweet hip rotation. Double jointed knees. Now the knees look really good. They're carved out really nicely. Straighten them back out. At the ankle you have up, down, right to left, rocker, and toe articulation. Taking a look at the legs before we move on. You could see all the armor plating. Now I wouldn't be opposed to just getting, making some different color choices like on the armor plates. That way it would give it, some contrast between the armor plating and the rest of the suit. That would be pretty nice if someone were to repaint it like that. A Batman ready for war. And also like a realistic take on the armor. Even on the boots you have straps and plates. Pretty awesome. Take a look at the bottom. Oh, that's some beautiful, beautiful boot tread. You know me, I love me some boot tread. They even have the bat symbol in there on the sole. And then going up, more beautiful sculpt work. You can even see the bootstraps here, holding the plate armor to his shins. And then going up the back. They really went all out with all the detailed sculpt work. On the back of the belt you have another little metal loop there. Pretty nice detail. And then the cape. Now the cape is pretty wide and it's really nicely sculpted and detailed, but it is still, pliable. You could squish it together. Really one of the nicer capes we've seen, and really realistic looking. It looks kind of like pleather or some kind of leather, but it's like faux because it's actually plastic. So pretty nice. All in all, pretty awesome figure to add to the collection. I love Batman. I'm going to take all the Batmans that they give us. I even want more Batman because I want the Batman from Red Sun Superman. I want the Batman from Blood Rain, which is like the vampire Batman. So you'll never hear me say, oh, another Batman, like those worms out there just making me laugh because they cry so much and they're not going to make a little minuscule difference of the character selection. So they're just wasting their time. But I actually want more Batman. There's other Batmans that I want, and hopefully McFarlane will give it to us. All the Batmans, I want them all. Now, of course, you can put his Batarang in his grasping hand. Pretty cool. Now, I did want to give him another weapon for this loop, but I was trying to figure out how to connect it. Now, I took this extra grappling gun, but this is from the Battison Batman, but I cut off the little peg, and if you push the handle, it actually goes right into that little metal loop on his left side, and it just hangs there, and it actually catches itself really well. So you could actually have him carrying that, extra grapple gun, and then when you want to take it out, you just twist it, it comes out. And then this one fits actually really nicely into his hand. And then you could have him shooting the grapnel gun. So this is a little accessory that actually fits well with him if you have an extra one like I do. But we do want to pop off the head and put a bigger peg. Now I actually have a bigger peg. It's the exact same size, but it's just a little bit longer. And we pop this out and switch them, and then put the head back, and you could see the difference that it makes. It actually gives him a little bit more height and gives him a little bit more smooth range in his head movement. And it actually looks really good. I'm actually gonna probably be extending his peg to get him this high. I just love the way it looks. He looks up even higher than before, and this actually allows him to look lower with more like menacing, shadows, because it doesn't stop as soon as it goes down. It actually goes even further because of the distance you've given it now with that longer neck peg. So I think it looks really, really good with the extended neck peg. I'm gonna be, either switching one out or just extending it, but for sure I'm gonna do that because it looks a lot better now. I was wondering what he would look like with other heads. So first we're gonna try him with the Rebirth Batman head. It's kind of small, but if you turn them in certain poses, it still looks good, especially like looking up. It does have like something that matches with this suit, even though it is a tad bit small, but it would still work. And it looks more like a comic version of Batman, if that makes any sense. And then I wanted to try one of my favorite heads, the Grim Knight head. Now I was really surprised with this because when I first looked at it, it kind of gave me some Christian Bale Batman look. Like it just does. I don't know what it is about it. I know that the head's shaped kind of weird, but for some reason it looks like Dark Knight Trilogy Batman to me. It's just something about it. But I do like it. And it's, that's the good thing about all these figures, the hands, the weapons, the energy effects, is that if you want to do photos or anything like that, you could swap any hands, any heads that you could think of, and when you're done, you could just put it back to the figure that it corresponds with. But that's a lot of alternate pieces that you could use, which is pretty much what I do. If somebody needs a fist, I just find it and put it on there, because I'm only going to be using it for that photo. It's not like I'm going to be actually displaying it with that actual piece. But that's another thing with the heads, is you could switch them and then switch them back, and there's no harm done. So that's something that I really like to do. But I actually like this Grim Knight head on this. It looks really good. And then the last head I wanted to try on was my Three Jokers Batman head, which I have actually modified to be able to swap. And this one looks really good as well. A rugged looking Batman head to go with a rugged looking Batman body, like a tactical version. Actually looks really, really good and menacing. Looks like he would take care of business. That's actually a really good looking Batman. So a lot of heads look good on this body, but we'll put back the original head. We'll be raising that neck peg. Now before we go, let's look at him next to the other figures from his wave, which was Superman, Black Adam, and of course Constantine. Now I'm done with this wave of page punchers. Hopefully in no time at all we will have Page Punchers Wave 2, leading off with the Injustice 2 Batman. But you guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.